The point that I'm driving home here is this. Again, any challenge that you have in your life that you want to change, anything, it's not going to be solved from the perspective that it was created from. Now, I'm going to take you down another little path here, and I'm going to say, for example, because I want you to really get this home. It's so important. Let's say that this 5-year-old boy decided that he was always going to believe in Santa Claus, that he was just going to find ways to push all the data out. And he wholeheartedly held on to that perspective until I was an adult. And I got into, say, a really nice Ivy League college. I went to MIT. And I became a scientist. And I found other friends at other Ivy League schools, Cornell, Stanford, Yale, Berkeley. And they all believed in Santa Claus too. And all of us, let's just go follow with me on this, all of us joined Transformation.com. And we are very well respected in the community, and we are very well respected in our own fields of study. And we joined Transformation.com, and now we want to fly to Denver to run the race. So now we've got a problem in our life that we want to solve. We want to fly from where we are in Arizona to Denver. Now, from our perspective, just follow me with this. From our perspective, how are we going to fly there? Well, we're going to take reindeer, right? Because reindeer fly, and they fly in a sled. They got a sled behind them, and we'll get in the sled, and they'll fly us there. That's our perspective. So that's going to be our solution within that. So because we're scientists, and these schools have connections, we figure out and end up getting a grant from the government. And the government helps us do this. And you know what? We're really smart. So we eventually figure out that we do these jetpacks, and we get through all these human animal rights issues, and we actually figure it out. We get the freaking reindeer to fly. We have to use NASA to do it, and it's all complicated, but we finally get it done. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes up that's well respected and says, hey, guys, I got to tell you guys something, man. Santa Claus doesn't exist, and reindeer don't freaking fly. And we go through the painful process of changing perspectives, and we finally realize, oh, my goodness, reindeer don't fly. Now we've changed perspectives, and we still have that same challenge in front of us. We need to fly to Denver to run the race. So now the solution will come effortlessly to us. It will come easily to us. And that is, what will we do at that point? We'll go to Travelocity.com, and in 5 minutes we'll have plane tickets and we'll fly there. It's that simple. The reason that I'm explaining it at that level and using that analogy that may seem crazy is that many times what happens is we try to solve our challenges in our life within the same perspective, and we end up getting all these extremely complicated ways to do it. And what you'll find is that if you can challenge yourself to change your perspective, the solution will come easily at that point. Can we go to slide 14, please? And slide 14, I show you these pictures here not to impress you, but to impress upon you that true transformation does not take place through self-will. True transformation on here, you've got to completely reinvent yourself. You've got to go from a Windows 2.0 to a Windows 3.1. You've got to completely reinvent yourself. Because if you don't change your perspectives, if you don't break the barriers of your limiting beliefs, if you don't expand your comfort zone, and you're constantly changing your perspectives, and by the way, comfort zone, tonight, I'm outside of my comfort zone. Talking with you and sharing with you tonight, this is not my comfort zone, but I'm stepping outside of it because it provides an opportunity for more growth. And anytime I can step out of my comfort zone, I do it with a vengeance. So you've got to change yourself. These two people in these here are two separate people, I assure you. The person on the left, the 2.0 version, that person is somebody who had a very narrow comfort zone with lots of limiting beliefs. And the limiting beliefs were that what happiness and bliss and a successful career was someone else that was going to help me do that. That a meaningful relationship was always failed because of somebody else. Oh, she just didn't get me. She didn't understand who I was. Oh, I can never find the right woman. You know anybody like that? I was like that. That's the limiting belief on there, and that's the way I lived. And it's not until I went to the 3.1 until I realized on here, I started getting rid of my limiting beliefs, and I started changing my perspectives, that I completely became and reinvented myself. And in fact, every year, and it's been a year now, I've changed every single cell in my skin, in my eyeballs, in my kidney, in my heart. They've all been replaced. And in 6 more years, every brain cell in my brain will be replaced. I'll be reinvented again on here. I want to give you guys another example of something that's closer to home about what it means to change perspectives in order to find an easy solution. I'd like you to go to the second to last slide, which is slide 15. And what you'll see there is a food label. Now, I want to walk you through this, and as I walk you through this kind of change of perspective, notice the resistance that you feel, because you have to recognize the resistance, otherwise you can't break through your own comfort zones. You can't break through into that and into the new perspective. So here's a perspective that almost everybody believes, and that is, in order to lose weight, and by the way, this is not an example, this is not nutrition advice I'm giving right here. This is purely an example on changing perspectives. A common belief that everybody has, and I bet everybody on this phone call has, is that if they want to lose body fat, that they're going to have to be calorie deficient. Right? You got to burn more than you consume, right? That's what we all believe. That's our perspective. It's almost ubiquitous. It's everywhere around us on here. What if I told you that you don't need to be calorie deficient in order to lose weight? Your perspective from where you are, you will not believe me. You will resist me. Now this perspective, let's talk about this perspective from how this label was created. This label, in the most simplest terms, was created from a perspective of people who are dairy farmers, who are huge corporations, who make and produce and engineer the food that you and I eat every day. And they've taught us how to measure whether we're eating good food or bad food by teaming up with the federal government and creating this label. And the very first thing they put up here is calories. That's the first thing. It's right there, calories, 330. Whoa, that must be the most important thing, right? And if I want to lose weight, I got to be calorie deficient. And I've read all the countless books out there, and they all say, you know what, just go negative calories, 500 a day, and after 7 days you'll have lost a pound of fat. Doesn't necessarily work all the time, does it? If it was successful, you'd see it everywhere, but it's not. But that's what we're taught to do on here. And this perspective was created from people who make and engineer our food on here, and whether you choose to believe it or not, a lot of the food that's produced out there is actually engineered to make you want to buy more. And how they get you to buy more of their food? They make it more pleasing to your palate. They make it more tasty. They do all kinds of engineered things to make sure that they layer it and they give it just the right ratio of texture and fat and salt. So that and they've even found ways that they found that you will buy more of the food if you have to chew less. So they use all kinds of weird, gooky stuff in food to make sure that you're not chewing your food 20 or 25 times, but they try to get it down to 10 times because they know you'll eat almost 2.5 times more if you do that. And that's the truth. And most of the food out there is just void of any nutritional value that your body really needs. So if you're within the perspective that, hey, I need to be calorie deficient, and you're going to follow this, you're going to be calorie deficient, what's going to happen? You're going to be starving. Because the food to begin with is already void of anything of any real nutritional value that your body needs. And I don't want to go on too much of a tangent on this, but if you walk around the supermarket, the basic things that are in food are almost all the same. We've got corn syrup, we've got wheat, we've got potatoes, we've got sugar, we've got wheat and rice, and beef and milk, and that makes up all the food that we eat. And in every aisle you go, it's going to have all or at least half of those items in it. It's just packaged in different ways. That's all that it is on here. And so if we're feeding ourselves that on here, and we feed less of that food, what's going to happen if we fall into that perspective? It's going to become very complicated. We'll come up with all kinds of